Hello, dear UPSC aspirants. I am Akriti Kanchi, your mentor from PrepIS, and I am trying to make your newspaper reading extremely UPSC relevant. And this is 4th April newspaper, and I want to tell you the must read articles of 4th April. And the good news is that we have started providing the highlighted parts of those articles on our Telegram channel, right? So you can access that also on our Telegram channel and make the best out of this video. Okay, so let's start with 4th April must read articles from the front page. So this has happened since that Donald Trump has taken his new presidentship. This news has been coming every day, but this time it has been on a larger percentage. Okay, so India holds fire as Trump slaps tariff. So this time his tariff has become huge. It's called as proper a full scale trade war, a reciprocal tariff. This comes under GS paper 2. Effect of politics and policies of developed country like US affecting India's interest, which it is getting affected, right? Stock market went down with this news. There are some predictions that some percentage of GDP might get affected, right? So US president launched a full scale trade war announcing massive reciprocal tariffs ranging from 10 to 49% on US imports from its trading partners, right, around the world. India was also not spared and was hit with a 27% tariff on its export to the US despite ongoing talks for a trade agreement. So it is a problem for India because US is one of the countries in top 5 trading partners of India, with which India has a positive trade relation, as in our exports to them is greater than the imports that we take from them, right? So it was a good news for over it was a it was a good thing for India. But now with this tariff, our exports may get hit at US. A lot of countries have spoken against it, like EU, China, Canada have said that they will take countermeasures. Japan, South Korea, who are USA's allies, has also said these tariffs are regrettable. Okay, though India has not said anything right now, right? So this is a news you should know. Another article: Supreme Court confirms cancellation of over 23,000 appointments of teachers in Bengal schools. So this is a textbook example of corruption, right? So what happened? How will you use this? This will just be used as an example in your mains question of corruption transparency of GS paper 2 or GS paper 4 also. Corruption is there in both the papers, right? Here I have written GS paper 2, important aspects of governance, lack of transparency, corruption. This can be example, right? How where cash for jobs recruitment scam happened for 23,000 positions. Just as an example, this news will act as an example for your mains answers. Let's move to the next article. Okay, so this is also again Supreme Court has reaffirmed, okay, absolutely necessary. Supreme Court confirms complete ban on firecrackers in Delhi NCR. Again, some firecracker manufacturing people have taken the petition in Supreme Court, which Supreme Court rejected and said that ban is absolutely necessary. This comes under GS paper 3, environmental pollution and degradation. The Supreme Court confirmed the ban on sale, production and manufacture of firecrackers in Delhi as absolutely necessary in NCR. The bench again said the onus on the manufacturers to scientifically improve the so-called green crackers. So it is on manufacturers if they can improve the crackers to become a green crackers. Okay, and that those green crackers should have minimum, they should produce minimum bare pollution. Okay, only then they will be allowed. So they should do some innovation there, so then if they create something like that which creates bare minimum pollution, then they will think, then there's a possibility of rethinking the ban imposed through earlier orders of this court. Okay, next move the next article. Right, well, yeah, here there's a small example, right, how in India groundwater extraction is happening at such a large scale that it's leading to salinity of groundwater. Right? This is what is happening in New district of Haryana, In Haryana, groundwater pollution because of green revolution, a lot of tube well kind of irrigation was done. And since irrigation is also subsidized for farmers, so they take disproportionate amount of water from groundwater, which is reducing the quality of groundwater, right? So in Haryana, groundwater pollution has led people to build now groundwater is not drinkable. So now they have different ways to get the drinking water. So there are underground tanks that are fed by expensive water tank services, and the water has become very expensive for them to drink, right? So this comes under GS paper 1, changes in critical geographical features, water bodies, groundwater. So here you can see the groundwater crisis is very serious. It is the water has become so salty that even birds and animals don't drink it, right? It's a very big issue that India will be facing in coming future. That's why groundwater harvesting program, watershed development projects are extremely necessary, right? Let's move to the next article. Yeah, so I'll just say small article on this side. A lot of instant injustice, a lot of demolition exercises are being done in a lot of state by a lot of state governments, right? So Supreme Court has again taken a stance over it. The state must not be allowed to adopt the playbook of the mob. So state should not behave without not going by the law and just taking action without giving notice or something, right? So this comes under GS paper 2, Indian Constitution, fundamental rights. The Supreme Court of India strongly remarks that the practice like this, which in which they are demolishing the buildings of people, is not right? So a bench headed by Justice A.S. Oka stated that illegal demolition of properties belonging to people has shocked the conscience of the court, right? The demolitions were carried out without even serving show cause notice. Show cause notice was not served to the house owners either in person or by registered post. Okay, so there's something called right to shelter under Article 21 of the Constitution. Article 21 is right to life, under which naturally it comes you have the right to shelter, right? You cannot take away somebody's house in a day without giving show cause notice, right? So that's called a due process that every government needs to follow. Right to shelter is an integral part of Article 21. Article 21, the top court has ordered the payment of 10 lakh as compensation to each house. So you should know about right to shelter. Okay, another article, the other space race. That there is a race is going on in space continuously. The geopolitics of satellite net. So this again comes under GS paper 2, effect of policies and politics of developed country. Here we are talking about SpaceX, which is owned by Elon Musk. His project called Starlink, which is going to provide infrastructure for providing internet in low Earth orbit. So 7,000 satellites are planned under Starlink, where there will be, the infrastructure will be provided to even rural areas in the low Earth orbit region. Okay, it's a very unique, initiative. Other projects have also come in this line, but SpaceX Starlink is the, leader there, right? So this SpaceX right now is recently. The news had come about SpaceX recent partnership with Airtel and Jio to expand Starlink services across India, which can be looked at as a fundamental shift in the conceptions of connectivity, national sovereignty, and economic power in the digital age. So if the Starlink will have so much of power that they can affect the digital space of our country, then that will also affect the politics and nation power of the country, right? That's what they're saying. Although it is seeming nice that for Airtel and Jio, Starlink allows them to provide high speed internet to India's most remote regions without the infrastructure cost of terrestrial networks like optical fiber and all. But for SpaceX, the deal opens up a huge market. If SpaceX does not take the help of Airtel and Jio, it has to go through a lot of regulatory problems of India. Okay, so now Airtel and Jio will take care of the India's complex regulatory landscape, right? And Starlink can focus on other things. But there are a lot of issues related to this issue, which is like, there are fears that United States based Starlink network gives the US an advantage in the competition for digital influence, particularly as China is also trying to develop something like that. China is developing Starlink's rival Guo Wang, okay, constellation. China's Guo Wang's constellation is trying to compete Starlink. India's options were to wait for homegrown alternatives or partnering with So what India had options? Either it creates own, homegrown companies or partnership with other countries. So India is going with partnership with USA, right? So it has chosen side. Okay, we are not choosing China, but USA here, right? So but there are certain concerns like monopolistic concerns. Okay, with around 7,000 satellites around in orbit, SpaceX enjoys first mover advantages. Who are other companies here? There is another competitor of SpaceX, Starlink, OneWeb, which has fewer than 650 satellites. Okay, another project, Amazon's project Kuiper, is also there. So you should know about this OneWeb, Amazon's project Kuiper, and China's project Guowang constellation. Okay, but so if Starlink will have monopoly here, so that will increase the prices and also increase the dependency of India on Starlink. Okay, so private companies will wield nation state levels of influence over critical infrastructure. So internet is critical infrastructure and it will be wielded by a multinational company in USA. Okay, US and not an Indian owned company or Indian private company, right? So there was an example where SpaceX briefly cut Ukraine's Starlink access during critical military operations in 2022. So Starlink, because it is from US, so it will abide by the US principles, and sometimes it may go against that country's interest. Okay, that happened in this Ukraine case, right? So these are certain issues, and it comes at a cost of digital sovereignty. Though China's Guowang constellation, so China is not taking anybody's help and it's creating its own constellation for this position, designing its system explicitly as a state controlled asset so that the security of nation is not in anyone's hand, right? So, but we can also try. ISRO is also continuing to develop indigenous satellite capabilities. The aim is digital sovereignty, but it will take a lot of investment and time, right? We are not yet there. So things like global internet governance is at stake here, right? And developing nation has issues like India, which has to face the choice between American system, Chinese system, indigenous system, something like that, or a hybrid model that India is trying to follow here, right? So satellite internet. So there are also some issues that is possible if, for example, if Starlink is providing internet too expensive to rural areas, so it's not a good deal. It will be considered a bad deal, right? So India needs to, and there are other issues that will come along with this, low Earth orbit kind of internet, which is orbital debris. You must have heard about orbital debris management and space traffic control. The transnational nature will require international governance cooperation, even amid strategic competition. Okay, let's move to the next article. So this is a small article on the side. We had covered it 2 days back also. Important article. Data and federalism. This comes under GS paper 2. Governance, accountability, e-governance. So what has happened here? Niti Aayog, in partnership with National Council of Applied Economic Research, NCAER, and Niti Aayog, has launched Niti NCAER States Economic Forum, which is a portal aggregating data and analysis on state finances. It's one portal, giving data of of all the states of India of finances. So it will have data, state-wise reports covering macroeconomic indicators, including tax and non-tax revenues, human development statistics like school dropout rates, literacy level, employment, historical trends in the devolution of central funds. All this kind of data will be there. So this nothing new. These data is not new. But what will be good here? This data has come from original sources like Periodic Labor Force Survey, Reserve Bank of India State Finances Report. But it will be at one place. So there will be a comparative presentation across states, which will bring clarity to the diverse fiscal realities of India, right? Through a structured lens. Okay, so 16th Finance Commission, which will give another parameters to devolve funds from centers to state, can use such data. India's federal structure to work equitably, regional data must be translated into policies that ensures fair representation, resource allocation, and administrative responsibility. Okay, it's a tool for fostering informed, pragmatic conversations around governance, development, and the future of Indian federalism. Let's move to the next article. Okay, so this is an important article. Why are undersea cables important? Okay, what are this cable like? Right, we have heard about optical cables and all, right? So this comes under GS paper 3, infrastructure, connectivity, communication, and internet is very important. So India is getting new cable landing system coming online gradually. Okay, this latest edition is of Airtel. Airtel to Africa Pearl system, which has investment from Facebook company Meta, and which will add 100 terabits per second of capacity to India's international bandwidth. That will increase the quality of internet. So, what is this cable thing? Okay, so undersea cables are the main link connecting the world's internet networks. Okay, these undersea cables are the main way. They connect internet service providers and telecom operators everywhere with those in other countries. Okay, these cables are few inches thick and are heavily padded so that the undersea environment does not affect it. Okay, it strands of fiber optic cable. There are strands of fiber optic cable which works under the principle of total internal reflection, right? And it has massive capacity for large volumes of data to quickly crisscross the earth. Very important. Okay, so what is landing point? There is certain manhole is created from where the cable enters and all that you can read. I don't think that the details are very much important. So there is a data based which is telling the importance of it. So 90% of data, 80% of world trade, and about $10 trillion of financial transactions as well as secure government information move through these cables. Okay, today everything is done through these internet. Each modern cable has several hundred gigabits per second of capacity and can send and can support thousands of telecom users. Okay, India has two major hubs for cable handling capacity, which is Mumbai and Chennai. But India doesn't have that much of cables landing, which a country of India's size should have, right? So more cables land in Singapore, a small city state, than the entire India with so much of coastal land, right? But the problem is most of them are coming through Red Sea, Bab el Mandeb Strait, where there is Houthi rebels of Yemen who keep attacking all this. Okay, so that's why it comes under problem. So India's internet is highly dependent on few key landing sites like Bab el Mandeb Strait, Red Sea cable cuts, right? So fishing trawlers, lack of domestic cable repair shops further threaten network stability. So if something happens in that area, the internet of the country will be affected, right? So we need to create more, we need to lay more undersea cables. Okay, but another problem with that is if you want to lay undersea cables in India, it will require around 51 permissions from various authorities. Like, it's a kind of red tapeism, slow process which will delay projects. Okay, 51 permissions for laying it, which is not a good example. That's why experts say there should be regulatory reforms, more cable landings, and local investment in repair and maintenance facilities. Okay, important article. This is just important from prelims point of view. What's happening in Greenland? It's owned by whom? So Greenland is a self-governing territory of Denmark with a population of 57,000 people. Okay, it has a parliamentary democracy. An election for its 31, it has only 31 seat unicameral parliament, which is called Inatsisartut. Inatsisartut. You also know what is Germany parliament called? It is Bundestag. So a prelims question can come about, they can write this odd terms and it is parliament of which country. So Greenland parliament is Inatsisartut. Please search, okay? And Germany parliament is Bundestag. Find such uncommon names. Okay, so there is a proportional representation vote system. Government must pass a vote of confidence, right? And it is a positive parliamentarism. And Greenland's economy is based, 90% of Greenland economy is based on fisheries. The island relies on fisheries, which comprise 90% of total exports. Okay, which is vulnerable to market fluctuations and climate change. You should know basics about the countries in news. Okay, let's move to the next article. I think we'll directly go to there's small article here which will tell which sectors are more affected by the tariff, which reciprocal tariff and the trade war that Donald Trump has sent all over the world, right? So the most affected sectors will be marine product, 37% of India's marine product exports went to US. Okay, so it will be highly affected, highest affected sector, marine product. Then pearls and stones, drug formulations, drugs, pharmaceutical, gems and jewelry, ready-made cotton, ready-made garments, electronic goods, okay, non-ready-made, and all these things will be highly affected. What will be least affected? Rice, iron and steel, petroleum, crude, engineering goods, all this will be lesser affected. Okay, let's move to the last article of the day, which talks about compassion. Compassion is an important word in your GS paper 4 in ethics also. And right now they are talking about compassion in primary health care, right? Primary health care and how it will increase the quality of healthcare, right? So this comes under GS paper 2, issues related to development and management of social sector like health sector. Okay, so cases from tribal, rural and urban India show how compassion helps deliver better care, drive responsiveness and meet the public health needs of the community. So when you do something with compassion, you understand the needs of the person along with a solution coming from your expertise. Okay, it is considered to be better than empathy and sympathy. Okay, compassion comes with understanding as well as solution. So in January, WHO published a report calling for compassion in primary healthcare system. Compassion is characterized by awareness, empathy, and action, it is a transformative force in primary healthcare where they are supposed to understand the patients, driving quality care and health system transformation. Okay, so what is compassionate care? It means having community health workers accompanying patients to referrals. So if you're going to some places, they will help you to, where you should go for this treatment, where you should go for the testing and all, raising awareness of programs for TB, silicosis, ensuring access to diagnostics and drug. Generally, when you go to any place, you have to find it all by yourself. Nobody is assisting you. You can keep asking and they might not even help you. So it will be different. They'll be assisting you with all care and love. Okay, making home visits also. They'll come and visit you at home and negotiating with families and patients. Okay, so staff should be treated. So how will this happen? Only if staffs are given such respect and training, then only they'll behave like with these patients. So so talent should be nurtured and they should be treated with dignity. In the government, what happens, they're mostly so much stressed, like ASHA workers and all are so much stressed under the work that they cannot behave with compassion sometimes, right? So compassion is missing in the government sector because of struggles and pressures of auxiliary nurse, midwives and ASHAs, right? So we need to work on everything. There's some good practices here. Chennai takes a considered approach to devolution that in Chennai, so that the workload is not too much on any agency. They distribute work properly amongst all the line agencies. Like they consider approach to devolution that it distributes responsibilities between line agencies, technical person and elected representative, and is governed by Chennai Municipal Corporation Act. And it explains Tamil Nadu's system includes annual district level meetings where the roles of departments are clearly defined. So if something of this sort will happen, the pressure will reduce and they will think of behaving and taking better care of the patient. That's it for 4th April. Thank you.